I think we like to. I think we like the idea of people being, you know, I think we like the idea of arrival. I think people love the idea of arrival. I think our minds like that so much. Um, and I think the spiritual journey is a journey. It's a journey, and I'm not really sure about an arrival. Right? I'm not really sure about that. There are stages, there are points. I think there is, mastery. I think some people have attained a higher degree of mastery than others. Um, I think enlightenment is just being okay with wherever you're at. Really. I mean, it's a lot of things. I can say it's in this and say it's that. It is a lot of things. Profound realizations. That's enlightenment. Profound realization, though, should always be taking you to a point or to a place where it's okay. Like, it's okay. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. Okay. Maybe this is not what I want to be doing forever. But, there's an additional component, life. Life happens. It's not just you, life is there too. And anyways, so, I struggled with drugs and alcohol for, I don't know, maybe 12 years. And in 2012, my friend, he uses the term download, but I was on LSD in 2012, and that was the first time, I think I was about 24, 25. That was the first time that I ever, you know, received like a download of information. And the information was, it was about Buddhism, about craving, about suffering, about how, stuff comes in through the sense doors, and it kind of swirls around in your some part of your mind, and then kind of that's who it's kind of ego. It was like realization of craving, suffering, ego, and then a little bit after that time, I got a book about Buddhism, and I started reading it, and I was like, oh, this is what I downloaded. This is the information I had received. And that was kind of like, on my awakening journey, that was kind of like the first point for me, was on LSD, and just like understanding all this stuff. It was like the first time I realized that I actually had an alcohol and drug problem too. I didn't get sober until 5 or 6 years after that point. But it was a lot of information. That was kind of the first part of my awakening journey, right? And then, you know, I continued looking into Buddhism, and I ended up discovering the Vipassana centers, that teach Vipassana meditation as taught by S.N. Goenka, that technique, which is, in Vipassana meditation, is the technique that Buddha discovered 2,500 years ago, the historical Buddha. Apparently that's the technique he discovered. And so some life experiences happened. They led me to pursue these centers, and I found a center, and I found a course, and I ended up going to a course. And the first course was the hardest thing I'd ever done, and it was incredible. I mean, it was amazing. So I ended up meditating for a year, which is what they suggest you do. After the courses, they suggest that you should meditate, daily as a practice. And so I did that, and I ended up going to my second course, and the technique is really amazing. Like, the courses, are so amazing. And S.N. Goenka was really amazing. He was an amazing person. And I couldn't really imagine teaching this technique in any other way. So it's 10 days, no talking. You're with other people, but you're not really supposed to acknowledge that they're there. You're supposed to try to cultivate an atmosphere of aloneness as much as you can. And there's a schedule, and the schedule's pretty strict. You know, you wake up 4:30 a.m. and they want you to be meditating by 4:30, I think. So I think they want you to be meditating at about 4:30 in the morning. And then you have breaks and meals. They give you food, and it's free. The whole thing's free, and you meditate until about 7 at night, and then you watch a discourse, and then you go to bed at about 9:30, 10. So it's pretty intense. And you do that for 10 days. In the first 3 days, you you focus on developing the technique called anapana, which is breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose, normal breathing, just observing the normal, natural nose breaths. Just doing that for 3 days. And doing that, like on my first course, you get so hyper concentrated. I was looking at all the ants crawling around on a break. There's all these ants, and they were crawling around. I was like, I could see every little ant's little arm or whatever they got moving on all of the ants. It was like so crazy. You get super hyper focused. And then on day 4, you learn the technique of Vipassana meditation. And the technique of Vipassana meditation is like you observe sensations like throughout your body, on every part of your body, in a systematic kind of way, and then like that's all you do for the remaining days of the course, 5 or 6 days. And Vipassana meditation is hard. It's really hard, but it's amazing. Like it is incredible. So on my second course, I think it's day 6 or 7. So we're doing Vipassana, and you do Vipassana, and you feel all these feelings you've never felt on your body. You feel all these sensations. You get in tune with your body in a way you've never been in tune with your body before. Like, because nobody really stops to just observe feelings. What is being experienced on some random part of their body? That's not really common for people to do. And so my second course, I had taken kind of the information and the wisdom that I had learned from my previous course and my experience meditating in between the courses, and I was kind of meditating, and I saw a thought. Arise separate from my whole entire body. I saw a thought arise separate from my whole entire body. And the moment I saw it, there was a sensation of like such a pleasant sensation. And I instantly wanted to see another thought really intensely. Like I was craving another thought just like that. I wanted to see another one just like that. But in the discourses, it had been explained, and I knew instantly. I said, curious. So the meditation session period ended or whatever, and then on the break, I was like, I had the profound realization that there was no such thing as an I. There is no I. I saw the thought, who was my identity, separate from this material structure, and I had realized that there was no I. There is no such thing as an I. And Ramani Maharishi was an enlightened yogi in like the early 1900s. There's a video on him, and if you watch the video on him, it's like footage of him. You like feel the vibrations of him through the movie. Like, and he's dead, but oh my gosh. But he had the concept. I don't know. You can't see it. You can't see it, but I watching I. That's what his concept was. And yeah, I saw it. I saw my mind as like a dog, like a little dog, and it's gonna wander, and it's gonna go off, and it's gonna get into trouble, and the consciousness in me needed to continually be taking care of this little dog and keeping him out of trouble and training him so he can do what I want him to do. And so all of a sudden there was like 2 eyes in me. There was the mental I, and then there was some other part of I, this new part of I, And we see a lot of like Jim Carrey, like he had this same experience. He's a a famous person, and we've seen that on the media. That this has happened to him. This is a stage. It's a stage I've talked about before, but it's it's just another stage on the awakening journey. You know, like there's our mental selves, which is not our real selves, but it's kind of where a lot of us live in. For a lot of our lives, the first part of our lives for sure. And then there's the realization that, oh, that's not me. There's another dimension of me. And then you start seeing that, oh, there's a material me, that's separate. And so that was kind of a really profound part of my journey was getting to that stage. And then, I still didn't even get sober. I was still, abusing substances. So even if you attain, a higher stage or a higher level of conscious awareness, like that doesn't necessarily mean you're mastered. You see, so it's important to keep working, and growing, and living, and doing, and being. And so, but I didn't get sober for a few years after that. But the meditation courses really helped me, and they really set me on a better course in my life for sure. For me to get sober, I had to create hell on earth for myself. So I had that experience at the second meditation course. I continued going to the courses. I continued drinking and using drugs. It's like there's like the dualistic world is like it's balanced. Like so like there's good, and good gets really high, and then evil comes up, and it gets really high, and then there's good, and then there's evil. And they kind of are in this tug of war with each other. And so I was still creating chaos in my life pretty much. And so I created hell in my life, and I had to run away from that hell, and I ran all the way around the world to try to get away from the hell that I created in my own life. Until I was able to see that running was the source of all my my substance abuse. I was not accepting world. I was learning about myself. I was able to accept some aspects of myself, but I was not accepting world. And so when I understood that, I was able to get sober, and then I started to try to really live more aligned with how the world actually is going. And so but anyways, those were kind of the two most profound points on my spiritual and awakening journey, or three, I guess, if you count the sobriety part. But it is a journey, so and we're all working on it, whether we know it or not. So good luck on your journey, and if you have not arrived anywhere, don't get frustrated, or get frustrated, because sometimes we need to get frustrated to see that, oh, there's no point in getting frustrated. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. I don't really know. I just kind of talked. So